The reveals about Odin's plan to resurrect the primordial god known as Aki according to the most trusted translation team doesn't have a continuation in the leaks for Record of Ragnarok chapter 86, meaning it's very possible we're not going to see more of Odin, Beelzebub and Buddha after Odin was about to go in and probably fight both of them for the aim of killing them. We may have to wait another month, or when the full chapter comes out they may make an appearance. However, that does not mean this month's chapter is bad. The start of the fight between Okita Souji and Susanoo is actually very good, and I am more interested than ever before, with a lot of things to go over in today's video. So first things up, we get to see most of the Shinsengumi here, looking very badass. I've mentioned it a million times at this point, all the Shinsengumi are from one of the author's previous manga, meaning they may have some more plot relevance in the future. However, the actual protagonist of that manga hasn't had his appearance yet, maybe in the future, and I would like to actually see all these guys throw hands at some point in Record of Ragnarok, or at least Izami again, as he's been introduced alongside Okita the whole time. Maybe a fight outside of the arena itself would be occurring and these guys could take place in that, or maybe in the future of the story if the tournament itself pretty much gets completely destroyed, especially with the stuff going on between Odin and everyone else. A difference that we have for this fight is it was actually Susanoo who requested this arena, with Okita accepting, with it being revealed according to various rough translations that Susanoo is more so a fan of Okita himself, his abilities and what he's capable of. A god being a fan of a human, I guess that's the first time we've had that in Record of Ragnarok, and an interesting little twist we have for round 10. However, this also means Okita Souji stocks are flying through the roof. The aura Susanoo represented in his introduction, cucking the likes of Anubis, was very badass, instantly resulting in me to have high hopes for him. And even in his walkout panel we got to see in the leaks here, man looks like an absolute beast, but he's fighting Okita because he's a fan of Okita, and also stuff we learned in the previous chapters, how Okita's fighting style is pretty much based off what Susanoo created, and perhaps when Okita was alive, he was able to develop it in a way that impressed Susanoo to some degree, and that's why he wants to actually fight him. This matchup may have been destined from the start of Record of Ragnarok. This may be the whole reason Susanoo actually accepted Zeus's request to be a fighter in the tournament. We'll have to wait and see. There's also this incident which involved Okita that Susanoo seems to be a fan of as well, and wants to recreate to some degree, at least according to this guy on the Reddit thread for some rough translations. Also claiming that after Okita heard that Susanoo was a fan of him, he no longer really wanted to fight. However, Susanoo was able to convince him, probably with like his aura, or Okita realizing that this guy is the real deal, leading into the fight actually beginning, but in a fairly wacky way. Probably next month's chapter, or if there's more panels revealed in the full raw drop, we'll get to see the first, I guess, proper exchange between the two. However, we also get some little lore drops about Susanoo, namely this panel. The moment he was able to obtain his weapon, which most likely is in this thing he's carrying around, the legendary tail sword of Orochi, which connects to his mythology lore, how he faced the 8-headed dragon / serpent beast and defeated him. However, when it comes to Ragnarok's version of this, it seems like he defeated him without his main weapon, or the weapon he's known for. He defeated him in some other means, perhaps using a different weapon, and then obtained this legendary weapon, which he's most likely going to use against Okita. Or maybe Okita is going to have to, I guess, push him to some degree to actually unleash it. And according to the main leaker for the chapters, we have more information about, I guess, Susanoo's thoughts on Okita, which of course is very good for Okita's stocks as well. Which comes back to what I talked about earlier in the video, how Okita mastered the art of the sword and is pretty much the peak of swordsmanship in history from Susanoo's perspective, meaning Okita should be more skilled than the likes of Sasaki, or Musashi, any other sword user in history, Okita is number one when it comes to skill. Naturally, we'll have to wait for the translations in the full chapter to get any confirmation about this. However, for now, Okita Souji is probably going to turn out as an absolute beast, which is probably exciting for a lot of you, and maybe not so much for others. I guess I'm in your group. As a whole, it seems like Susanoo will be a fairly likable character, and seems to be quite pure of heart, which begs the question of why he's actually fighting Ragnarok outside of his want to face Okita. I doubt he really wants the destruction of humanity. He'll probably just be this badass swordsman who wants to test himself against the one viewed as the best swordsman in humanity from his perspective. Something that's pretty much a guarantee for this fight is the art is going to be pretty amazing, with the arena being a, I guess, new setting that we haven't really gotten too much. Meaning when it comes to the background art, that's definitely going to enhance a lot of aspects of it. Something I'm definitely excited for, as the background stuff for most of the fights are pretty bland, and considering Jack vs Hercules is, I guess, the most fan favorite, or when it comes to the Japanese audience, it was voted by number one, and even on polls I've done, it's either number one and number two when it comes to favorites. Having a, I guess, refreshing look at the story and even the art itself is definitely going to enhance various aspects, and of course, two sword masters clashing is going to be amazing. In other news for Record of Ragnarok, apparently the anime, regardless of your thoughts of it looking like shit, I agree, the anime adaptation, or at least the animation and pacing, is probably one of the worst I've ever seen. On Netflix, it seems to have done very well, like insanely well based on this graphic actually released, and apparently the next season is already in production, meaning the rounds of Kinshi Huang vs Hades, Beelzebub vs Tesla, and Apollo vs Leonidas most likely, with some accounts claiming that the release date is going to be 2025. I don't think we have any official confirmation. There is this graphic going around, which actually includes fan art from this one of the manga colorists, nothing official, so we'll have to wait and see. But I guess fairly good news, Ragnarok is performing well, meaning we're going to get more anime adaptations, and hopefully more people end up getting into the manga, something that's far better than the anime. We also may be getting a very slow paced fight this time, considering what's shown so far for the chapter 86 leaks. They haven't really even begun fighting, just a lot of setup in this chapter, which isn't a bad thing, but considering Record of Ragnarok is monthly, it does cause some issues to a degree, but still seems like a good chapter. Stay tuned for more videos when we get the translations and the full chapter, alongside a very big video that is coming probably early in next month, so stay tuned. Shout out to the mad lads who support the channel, and that's it guys, peace.